So as I look back in my life and I try to think the things that made me successful and other areas where I feel like I haven't achieved my full potential. I'm 50 years old right now, half a century. And when you're young, you never see yourself getting to this age. It just seems like so far away. When you're a teenager, thinking 30, 40, 50, it just sounds like so far into the future. And you wonder, what is my life going to be like at that age? I recall that when I first got married, we were pretty young. We were like 18 or 19. Yeah, definitely very, very young, thinking that we had all the answers, knowing everything. And it was a struggle. I didn't have a college degree, didn't graduate, and the only jobs that I could get were jobs that were minimum wage, jobs that didn't require any skill or experience. And it was a struggle to provide for my wife, and later on, as we had kids, to provide for them. And I always felt like a failure. Like, how am I going to be able to do this? Every job that I had, I hated. So that was another complication there. Getting up in the morning, not wanting to do the thing that I was doing, but knowing that I had to do it in order to provide for my family. I also recall that I would go to the library very frequently and read books on different topics. Since I had gone to college, but I didn't graduate, I always wanted to like learn something. See, like if was there something that I could learn that would take me from minimum wage to making a living wage. And I saw books about computers, how to assemble them, and I started teaching myself, just reading books on that, buying used parts, old computers, and putting them together. And that was something that became something that I was good at, and I would assemble and buy the parts, assemble the computers, and sell them to friends and family. Then I looked for a job, and I was able to get a job. It was about a little bit more than minimum wage at the time, so it was a great thing. And I also read books on motivation, books on law of attraction, books like Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, books from Tony Robbins like Unlimited Power, Awaken the Giant Within, books like The Richest Man in Babylon. And those things, as I read them, it was like they made sense to me, but I didn't know how I was going to apply that knowledge into my life. As the years went by, I ended up getting a good job in the technology field. I worked in different levels like tech support, uh, network administration, and different things. And along the way, I was teaching myself how to do those things. And where I am today, at this point in my life, I'm a software engineering manager for a major uh, software company that I'm not going to name at this point. But I do make enough so that I can support my family. My wife and I ended up having 6 kids, which we're able to raise to adulthood. Our youngest now is a senior in high school, and my wife hasn't had to work the entire time. She's been able to stay at home. And another thing that I had in mind is like, wouldn't it be great to work from home? I don't have to commute and do all that. And I was wondering, like, how am I going to do this? I just know that I have that thought that I want to be able to do that. And for the past 10 years, I've been working from home, making, like I said, great money to support my family, and it's been great. Another thing that I wanted to do, that I always thought, how am I going to afford to be able to do something like this, was to go on a cruise. And I remember writing in big letters the words cruise, and I had that in my bedroom. That when I would get up in the morning, I would see those words written there, and it was just seeping into my brain. I think about a year later, this is back in 2018, we ended up going on our first cruise. It was a 7 day cruise. We went with friends, and we loved it. Uh, if you've never been on a cruise, you would think like 7 days on a ship would be boring. Like, what can you do for 7 days? But yeah, those who have done it, they know what I'm talking about. Those who haven't been on a cruise, uh, it's a wonderful experience. There's so many things to do. There's restaurants. There's a disco to go dancing. There's theaters you can see shows, and there's a casino to play. I mean, if that's something that you're into, there's so many things that you can do on a cruise that make it super enjoyable. It's not just the destination, the ports where they go. That's great, but the ship itself is its own destination. So 2018, that was our first one. 2019, we ended up doing another one. 2020 and 2021, you guys remember the pandemic, so there were no cruises happening. 2022, we ended up doing two cruises. 2023, we did uh, two cruises as well. 2024, we actually did three cruises. And this year, this is our second one that we're doing, and we're doing four more. So that's going to be six cruises in 1 year. Now that sounds unbelievable to me, because looking back to the person that was barely making minimum wage, couldn't support his family, to now being able to cruise 6 times in a year, that's a big deal. And I think going back to like, how did I get here? And I think it's using those principles that I learned long time ago of programming my subconscious for achieving my goals. In this case, I just wrote the word cruise in big letters, and that subconsciously got into my brain, and without knowing, I found a way to make that possible. And if you watch my videos going forward, I'll tell you more about those things. How am I able to make those things possible? I now have the ambitious goal of becoming a successful content provider. I don't know anything about creating content. I don't know anything about editing videos, uh, posting them. Even though I'm in the technology field, that's not something that I've done. So if you've seen any of my other videos that I posted, I'm a little bit awkward in front of the camera, but I'm getting better and better over time. So one thing that I did to achieve that goal, in the same way that I did with cruises, was that I went on eBay and I got me a plaque, a YouTube plaque that says 100,000 subscribers. So even though I have, right now, I probably have like 8, maybe 10 subscribers. I don't know. And very few people have been watching my videos at this point. I have that ambitious goal that I'm going to be a successful content provider. I don't know how at this point. I don't know how I'm going to get there. But because I have that plaque that I'm looking at every day when I get up in the morning, I look at the plaque. Or as I'm walking from my bedroom to the bathroom, I see the plaque. It's just staring into my subconscious that it's going to happen. I'm going to figure out the way to make it happen, to learn the skills, to becoming better in front of the camera, to be able to edit videos, to find ideas, and to improve over time. I know it's going to happen because subconsciously I'm programming my brain to make those things happen. As I mentioned, there's something called the law of attraction. You've probably seen about The Secret. I don't know that much about the whole metaphysical thing. Does it happen by magic? I don't know. But I do know is that if your subconscious is programmed to do a certain thing, you're going to be working towards that goal. You're going to be finding the opportunities. You're going to be finding along the way, the people, the knowledge, the things that you need to make that goal possible. That's what I know from experience in other aspects of my life. And that's what I'm going to be sharing in this channel. So if you made it to the end, thank you for watching. Please come along with me on this goal, this ambitious goal of becoming a successful content provider with 100,000 subscribers. You can be one of them. You can be one of the first ones to do that. So leave a comment, like if you can, and subscribe. And let me show you where I am right now. I'm in my cabin on the ship, and you can actually see where I am. Here's what I'm looking at from my window.